Juni Taisen, or Zodiac War, is an anime based on a light novel that aired in 2017, because I'm really bad at talking about current or popular things on this channel. The premise is that 12 people representative of the 12 animals in the Chinese Zodiac participate in a battle royale to get a wish granted. Augmented with abilities that range from a mastery of martial arts to the magical ability to never run out of bullets, these battles are much more than simple swordplay. Throughout the series, you get to know each member of the war as their fights to the death steadily lead to the one remaining winner. And if that all sounds fun to you, I suggest you stop this video and come back after you go watch the show. This isn't really a review, it's closer to a rant, and from here on out I'm gonna have to spoil major elements of the show's plot in order to air my grievances. If you want to know my opinion on the show, I'd say it's not bad, but it gets weaker in terms of characterization and animation as you progress throughout the 12 episodes. So yeah, go watch it if you want. Your spoiler warning starts here. So, I was introduced to this anime through a review I'd seen of it on YouTube. The reviewer had made their video partway through their viewing of the show, and so didn't know how it ended yet, which is fine. You can recommend a piece of art before finishing it if you've really enjoyed what you've seen so far. No, moreover, the problem is that this reviewer pitched the show as it being a mystery, that anyone could die at any time, that you never know who will win with the lack of a central protagonist that gets followed. A true battle royale where the results are up in the air until the fighting stops.
So that was a fucking lie.
Well, not really a lie, but more so the fact that this reviewer apparently missed all of the different ways the show outright tells you who will win and who will die in what order. The anime makes no effort in presenting this battle royale as a mystery. It's downright upfront with telling the audience what the final outcome will be. And I've been thinking about this for 4 years since I first watched Zodiac War, so I'm gonna break down all the ways this show is not anyone's game to win. The Chinese Zodiac has an order. This order is constant. If you're even somewhat familiar with the order of the Zodiac, it only takes 2 to 3 episodes for you to catch on, oh, they're dying in reverse order, starting with the 12th sign, the boar, and moving its way up to the 1st sign, the rat. Admittedly, not too many people know the order by heart, but often with these sorts of long lists, the first couple are the ones most people will have on lockdown. Knowing it's in zodiac order may mean you can't quite remember the order of deaths for the middle chunk of the participants, but you most likely are able to remember that the 1st sign is the rat, and so know who will end up victorious at the end. And all that makes sense. The original story for how the 12 animals of the Zodiac and their order was decided was similarly competitive. The animals all raced each other to get into the Zodiac. Juni Taisen is effectively an action anime retelling of that original race. By the way, if you're wondering how Dragon wasn't first in the race, it's because it stopped to save a town of people from, like, a fire or something, because dragons rule. But hey, let's say you aren't familiar with the Zodiac order at all, and so weren't able to catch on to the pattern the show follows. Certainly they tried to hide the outcome a little, right? That's just what the ending credits for each episode is, showing you what each character would have wished for in the order they die in. Really blatantly, too. I will say, I think it's neat how they show the characters in the order they technically die in, not accounting for Rabbit's necromancy, and how that affects who's still involved during the later episodes. It's also nice seeing a version of the story where the characters who were more likable got the happy ending you may have wanted for them. But yeah, with this ED, it's abundantly clear that the idea of the winner will be such a surprise is just wrong. They have no intention to hide the order of deaths for this show. To put it bluntly, this anime doesn't expect you to think it's gonna be a mystery on who wins. While not as blatant as the ED, the opening drops some major hints throughout its 1 minute and 39 seconds. While it's mostly just dedicated to showing a little bit of each character looking cool, there's a couple of clearly standout individuals here. First, the rat is the first character individually spotlighted, which is important because they aren't shown in the proper zodiac order here, yet we're still given the rat first, giving him an air of importance. Second, extra time is dedicated to showing the rabbit in a clearly malicious way. Rabbit is pretty obviously set up as the final boss for the show, being the first to kill and generally established as unsettling and vicious. It makes sense time would be spent towards showing off the big bad our heroes end up facing. After that, we get each character quickly posing and looking cool with very little movement. It's a fun sequence, but again, two stand out from the rest. Rat surrounded in ethereal light and posed like a Renaissance painting fused with every anime edgelord makes him look downright angelic, the only pure one of the whole group. Not only that, but he's the first one who properly moves, opening his eye to look directly into camera, and perhaps into the next version of the Juni Taisen he lives through. And finally, Rat looks special here because he's the only one depicted with full coloring, rather than being washed out by a single color like the rest, all of which also feature distinctly heavy shading that Rat lacks as well. Rat appears to be looking on as the rest all dramatically pose in death. And of course, the other standout player in the lineup is Rabbit, the only one whose face isn't properly shown, the only one who performs a full action by throwing his sword towards camera, and perhaps towards Rat as he looks on. And also, Rabbit is the final one showcased, meaning the OP is bookended with our hero and the villain he must help stop by the end of the tournament. Again, this one isn't blatant, but the opening uses color, composition, and pacing to highlight who the characters who properly matter are.
We're rats. We're the rats.
So, Juni Taisen tends to follow a formula for its episodes. Usually it establishes who our focus for the episode is, details their backstory and motivation with a lot of flashbacks, and then they die. It's a pattern that gets more egregious in the later half of the anime, as the majority of the runtime gets used on these flashbacks, and personally, I just found myself wishing we would go back to the present where things could actually progress forward. I don't want to spend 20 minutes learning the tragic and too long history of a character I know is going to lose. I just want to see the battle royale unfold. However, within that formula, Rat has the tendency to come in and out of focus of the plot. He shows up multiple times in other characters' episodes to offer or seek advice, getting enough screen time for him to be of note, but never getting the doomed to lose this time flashbacks. While it's not too frequent, the fact that Rat does get to show up long enough to make an impact on the others participating in the fight, without being painted as an obvious bad guy like the Rabbit, makes it clear he's gonna be important to the finale somehow. Even if you don't watch the ED or OP, just seeing how the show makes sure we as the viewer are aware of how notable Rat is, reveals that he will most likely be the deciding factor in the finale. Even the Ox, who gets close and arguably plays the role of deuteragonist, isn't highlighted like that until the end of the series, with Tiger's backstory supplementing him. Honestly, I wish Rat showed up even more frequently than he does. While I don't mind a working behind-the-scenes protagonist, I wish you got the chance to really care about him before his victory. And I want to make it clear that everything I've mentioned here is fine. There's nothing wrong with Juni Taisen's telegraphed conclusion. It being obvious who will win is what they were going for. Knocking the show for having a clear endgame in mind is missing the point. You're not expected to wonder about who the victor will end up being. A far more worthwhile complaint towards the anime would be the languid pacing of the second half, as the slow flashbacks end up using more and more screen time and end up feeling like filler. You may understand the combatants better after sitting through their backstory, but that doesn't mean spending so long on their boring history makes you actually care about their deaths. But honestly, my biggest complaint has nothing to do with the Battle Royale format. I hate the fan service in this show. Every single female character is sexualized. Rooster's wearing a battle bikini, Tiger's in her underwear, Monkey decided to not wear pants today. The only one who isn't half naked is Boar, who 1. Dies first, and 2. Gets plenty of screen time in her underwear for her backstory anyway. It's really annoying that all of the women are made out to be eye candy titillation. There's no good reason for all of them to be so underdressed. The story doesn't benefit from it. Fuck, it's not even like good ecchi shit. They're just stupidly not wearing clothes. Really, I wouldn't mind if any of that fan service was put into sexualizing the dudes too, but no, while all the ladies have to opt out of pants, the men get to look fucking normal, covered in layers, always wearing pants. Not even the ones wearing tank tops are promiscuously showing their man cleavage like how the girls have to. And I know what you might be saying, but you're ignoring the rabbit. No, I'm not. Being almost naked is not the same as acting as fan service. Framing and context matters. The girls in Juni Taisen are cute and likable, even when playing the villain of an episode. The camera lingers to allow the viewer to ogle their bodies. In short, it's not just the fact that the girls all opted to fight in their underwear, but it's compounded with how they are filmed, framed, and portrayed. The two main girls are presented as victims to be saved by the men. The rabbit is made to be unnerving. Heavy shading black sclera talks really weirdly. To put it bluntly, he's wearing so little not to titillate the female audience, but to scare the male audience. The show assumes you are a straight dude watching. They've taken a classic fan service idea, the bunny girl, and demonized it. He looks this way to make you uncomfortable. You can still find him attractive, but the show makes it clear that you are not expected to look at rabbit the same way you look at tiger or monkey. If all the girls are gonna be sexualized like this, why can't at least some of the fellas get the same treatment? It's annoying to watch the show and find myself thinking, I wish I had a cute husbando to fawn over and ogle like how the dudes get all these waifus. I get that the show came out 4 years ago, but really the anime landscape is still exactly the same. Fan service for boys as far as the eye can see, while girls get sport boy yaoi bait and One Punch Man. That's it. Start sexualizing male characters more, damn it. So yeah, anyway, it's obvious who's gonna win in Juni Taisen, and that's okay, but I do wish that the reviewer who had suggested the show in the first place had properly pitched the show. They had really laid into how cool it was that the Zodiac War was truly anyone's game. Of the video, that selling point took up the most time, and they were wrong. So I guess the moral of this video is, if you're a reviewer, try to make sure you have the facts right before posting a video. Everyone makes mistakes, of course, that's okay, but if you completely miss the entire point of the show, that's a big oof right there. Also, if you're interested in a show after one review, try to see if you can find any more reviews, as they might be able to clarify mistakes made by the first person you saw. And for everybody, make more sexy half-naked dudes for us to ogle in your anime.
Remember one time I liked you? No. Good, cause never happened. Aha. Oh.
Hey, how y'all? Get your fucking dog, bitch! It don't bite. Yes, it do! Get the...
Is there anything better than pussy? Yes, a really good book.